Good day, Professor Frankie and friends. I'm Victoria, and today we will be presenting our work for Project 3. To start off, I'll be addressing the aspects of an individual's performance that we expect them to accomplish. Firstly, we expect for the engagement rates on social media accounts to be maintained or boosted. Additionally, referring back to the KSAOs we've identified, we expect accurate forecasting of social media trends, proficiency in using editing software, having adaptability, and being a skilled communicator. Next, I'll be addressing the first 4 steps of the performance management process. The first step is to define performance outcome for the department. For a social media content creator, an important performance outcome is high market visibility, which can be quantified using social media outreach statistics. Another desirable outcome for the organization would be to have high conversion rates for social media accounts. Step 2 of this process is to develop employee goals, behavior, and actions to achieve outcomes. Some of these goals include a boost in engagement rates on social media platforms. Some examples of this being likes, shares, and comments on the content. And the next goal is to have positive response from the audience. And other behavioral goals include showing adaptability and being a skilled communicator, as mentioned before. The next step is to provide support and ongoing performance discussions. One way to do this is to provide employees with courses for upskilling. For example, photo and video editing courses and social media analytics courses. Another way is to have consistent feedback communication between employees and supervisors. And Perlin will dive deeper into this later on. The fourth step involves performance evaluation, where we have identified 2 approaches that could be useful in our performance evaluation. Firstly, the result approach, which focuses on managing the measurable results of a job. For this approach, we could include the use of objectives, the productivity measurement and evaluation system, and the balance scorecard. These methods are useful in setting SMART goals, looking at various perspectives, and motivating employees to improve productivity. Next, the attribute approach focuses on the extent to which individuals have certain attributes believed desirable for the company's success. We could use graphic rating scales or the mixed standard scales. This approach can help us evaluate non-quantitative performances of this employee. Now I'll be passing on the time to Perlin, who will bring us through the performance feedback.
Thank you, Victoria. We have designed a clear and concise method on how to provide performance feedback for the employee. Structure of how the process of the performance feedback is going to be as follows. Firstly, there will be the monthly peer appraisal, followed by the quarterly performance evaluation, and lastly, the performance reward system. There are 2 reasons why an employee is underperforming. Either they are not equipped with the necessary knowledge or skill set, or they are just simply unmotivated. All employees are within a certain spectrum, and this spectrum is defined under 2 axes, the x-axis, which is motivation, and y-axis, which is knowledge. Firstly, we have the power group, the group that every manager loves, the good performance individual who are always ready to share their knowledge and filled with motivation. This group of individuals positively influence their peers, and managers can incentivize these individuals to keep up their good work by rewarding them with actions such as providing them occasional meal and helping these individuals identify opportunity to up the corporate ladder. Secondly, we have the problem group, the group that needs to be identified quickly because their behavior can be toxic to the work environment and require immediate action from their manager. This group of individuals will have a negative influence on their peers, and the 2 ways to solve this can be through the use of warning letters and even the termination of employment. Then finally, we have the 2 mixed performance individuals, which we will have 2 different ways to manage them. Individuals with low motivation but are highly skilled can be encouraged by their peers. These individuals simply have not found a reason to continue working, and having positive company can change this, reminding them that they spend 8 to 10 hours every single day at work and it is impossible not to call it home. Whereas individuals with high motivation but lack the skills to carry out their duties coaching from their manager all can buddy up with that individual with high skill set and low motivation to carry out their tasks, supporting each other in their roles and responsibilities. To summarize, every employee requires a certain form of maintenance or surveillance, which can be managed by the manager using the performance feedback system. Having constant peer appraisal and evaluation of the employees, the manager can encourage better individuals, remove toxic individuals, creating an efficient operating system, and at the same time improving employees' overall job satisfaction. Now I'll pass on the time to Adam.
One of the benefits of design will be the higher productivity of work. In the initial stage, there will be some personal growth and development that come from results and attributes approach. When employees receive a sense of satisfaction from their work, this further motivates them to increase their quality and quantity of work. therefore leading to a higher productivity of work overall for the company. All this come naturally and innately from the employees themselves, and not because there are external factors that force or stress them to do more than they should be doing. However, there will always be caveats to each process. There are two main drawbacks that we're focusing on: appraisal politics and raters' errors. In appraisal politics, there are three perceptual dimensions. First, manipulation of ratings, followed by appraisee's influence, and lastly, the outcome of appraisal. Manipulation of ratings usually occurs for people who want to achieve the self-serving ends, usually involving their own reputation, maintaining good relationships, building of in-groups, and for them to handle the dependency threats from appraisees. Appraisers upwards influence behaviors to get higher ratings and rewards, and the outcome of appraisals can lead to pay and promotion decisions that can be considered discriminatory when performance is ignored. For raters' error, it occurs and misleads and blinds the appraisal process, which leads to partiality. The two that we are focusing on are the halo effect and the central tendency. The halo effect occurs when a person lets his or her impression of one positive work factor influence the overall assessment of their performance, while the central tendency can be defined as clustering everyone on the middle performance categories to avoid extremes of good and or bad performances. This is easy and convenient, but it's definitely wrong. This is not fair to employees who genuinely make an effort and can come across as demoralizing for the employees. And now Abby will be taking you through the payment structures.
So before we get to the pay structure, let's look at the different market forces that affect it. As people work to ensure their survival, their pay should be able to meet their basic needs. This addresses the cost of living as a deciding factor for pay structure. Ensuring that the pay meets the market benchmark would help the role stay competitive in the market and attract potential talent. This will also avoid dissatisfaction in the successful job applicant and help with retention to their pay. Next, we included demand and supply of talent as part of the market forces because this will help with cost control. Moving on, government interventions would play a part in pay structure as they regulate business flow and manpower. Lastly, experience and education level would serve to motivate and credit potential higher on their experiences and skills accumulated over their years. For the proposed payment strategy, we would base their wages with basic pay influenced by market forces, supported with merit pay, incentive pay, gain sharing, and stock options for employees. The stock options is adapted to encourage employee grow with them. Positive results from their tasks would allow the potential employee to get higher incentives and profit-sharing bonuses. It is a motivation to perform beyond expectations if the pay they receive is influenced by their performance. This would ensure that there is pay equity and satisfaction. This is a proposed outline of the payment structure. The social media content creator can get a basic or minimum pay, which the figure is taken from actual market research. Do note that the CPF is mandatory if employee works in Singapore and the stock purchase is optional.
I will now talk about the benefits a social media content creator can look forward to while working here. There are three types of compensation that employees is entitled to: insurance, paid leave, and medical benefit. Since the headquarters for the company is in Singapore, it is highly likely that the employee will be working in Singapore. Hence, we will follow Singapore's employee laws on this. On top of the compulsory insurance insured by the government, we will offer additional insurance for all employees. As Disney is a family-oriented family will be included in the insurance, allowing them to be better covered and employees can focus on their work. On top of the government providing for paid leave, we also propose to offer an additional 2 weeks of half-day after the maternity leave period and a longer paid paternity leave. Mothers can have time to shift back to a working life and fathers can spend more time with their family. For medical benefit, we have decided to subsidize the first $300 off any medical bill. The social media content creator can also enjoy additional benefits for working at the company. Firstly, the employee is entitled to an employee's discount on all products marketed by the company. Secondly, the employee is entitled to the red carpet treatment, where employees can watch new movies released by Disney before the general public. Thirdly, the employee can have access to the recreational room and the fully stocked pantry in the company. Fourth, as the employee manages the company's social media accounts, the employee can enjoy a flexible work schedule and a remote working option. Both the employee discount and the red carpet will enable employees to familiarize themselves with the products they are marketing and do their job better. And the recreational room and pantry will also give them a relaxed and informal environment to come up with creative marketing ideas. I'll now pass the time on to you, Ping.
Thank you, Ariana. Singapore also has a clause similar to employment at will, where either party could terminate obligations to work. This would be crucial in the attrition planning for Disney, as avoiding legal issues would be critical. Firstly, to avoid involuntary turnovers where Disney has to let go of employees, we could use a progressive discipline program. This system allows for employees to learn from their offenses, and only the most severe of cases would warrant an immediate termination. This method could also decrease the risk of Disney being liable for an unjust dismissal. Thus, to further minimize the risk of such allegations, formal inquiries and documentations which are mandated must be recorded to prevent any liabilities. Lastly, to combat voluntary turnovers where employees choose to leave the company, minimizing job dissatisfaction could reduce such turnovers. Furthermore, advanced succession planning could provide not just the progression framework employees yearn for, it could also serve as a fail-safe. Lastly, exit interviews could be crucial in understanding the reason behind the departure. That brings us to the end of our presentation.